Today I'm going to show you how to create a lesson in Nearpod. Once you log in, go ahead and click on Create. Now you can upload a PowerPoint that you've already created, or you can start from the beginning and add slides just like you would a slide in PowerPoint. So the first thing I want to do is give this lesson a title, and we're going to call this Parts of a Wave. So when you click on Add Slide, you have three options. You can add content, add web content, or add an activity. If I click on Add Content, it gives me the options for the slides, Nearpod 3D, and a few other choices, as you can see. So just to give you an idea of how to get started, we're going to go ahead and go back to slide. Since this is the first slide that my students will actually see, I'm going to upload an image and give it a text. So here we have the first slides that the students will see. I'm going to save and exit. So now I want to add another slide to this. You can click Add Slide here, or you can click here. So when I add the next slide, I actually want to give them instructions and let them know what I'm looking for. So I'm going to click on Slide again, but this time I want to change the layout. Instead of having a title and a way to add something here, I just want to have one element where I can simply just type directions. Anytime you click on the plus key, it's going to give you more options. And I'm going to click on text right here. Okay, so now we have directions for our students. So you can choose to make the text larger, or you can make it smaller. You can even center it. You can add bullets, or if you're not happy with what you have, you can actually delete it. So I'm going to leave this here and click Save and Exit. So now I want to actually begin the lesson, letting them be able to identify the parts of the wave, and we also want to make sure that we teach them those key vocabulary terms. Let's start with definitions. So this time I'm going to add a slide and then add an activity. So here you have the option to have open-ended questions, matching pairs, quiz, draw, collaborate, add poll, fill in the blanks, and a memory test. So what I actually want them to do is to define the words. So I'm going to do open-ended questions. So I am going to type up a few questions. The first question is, what is a crest? And then I click Save. So you can give them the option to use the textbook. You can also give them a video that you can add to it or a link. Question number 2, add activity. What is a trough? Now, if you're wondering what this is here, you can actually add an image, a video, audio, or web content. So let's say, for example, you're not sure, or let's say, for example, you want to actually have the students to go to a particular place. You can enter the URL here where you want the students to see it. And we're going to use and you can actually test the link before you pull it up. And here you have parts of a wave. So since this has all of the information here as well as labels, then what you can do is you can actually set that to be your link for each question. So we'll go back and we'll save it. And so now the student has a link. I'm going to add 2 more questions here, and then we'll move to the next part. Okay, I've added 2 more questions that I have linked to a website that will help them to define it. Now I want to add a video that will actually help them to visualize what they've just answered. So if I click on add slide, I want to add web content. So here I can type in my URL, test out the link to make sure that it actually works, and this video pops up, and I want to save it. So now your students will be introduced to waves by answering key vocabulary terms. They'll also have a video to look at to help them understand these terms. So now that they've actually done that, I want to see if they can identify the parts of a wave. So now I can add another activity and I can have them draw it. So again, they're supposed to know the parts of a wave based on the definitions and this video. So my instructions to the students would go here. Okay, and then I would save it. Okay, so once you've done this, you can actually save and exit, or if you don't trust that you've done everything that you needed to, you can actually go back and preview it. So let's preview it just to see what the students would actually view. So it starts at the end, but we're going to go to the beginning. So slide 1, they would see this. Here are the instructions that I give them at the very beginning of what they're going to learn and when they're going to know it. Here are the questions that I want them to define along with the website that they would just simply click on in order to get to that site, and they would answer their questions here, and they have 4 of those. And then here is the video that I want them to watch that explains the parts of a wave that they just defined. And then this last slide where I would actually want them to draw a wave themselves and be able to label it. So if you have a touch screen, then that's great. So we're going to exit the student preview. We're going to save and exit. I already have the name of my lesson, description, learning the parts of a wave, ocean wave, because there are two different types of waves. This can be used for whatever grade that you're gearing this toward, and then the subject. I'm just going to say it can be 6th, 7th, 8th, very just basic information. Save and exit. And there you're done. So if you want to go back and actually look at the waves that, or if you want to go back and look at the information you will create, you would just simply click on My Library and it will pull everything up.